Hey, hey, Blue Table fans. Nope. Hey, hey, Blue Table fans. I'm here with Landon. Blah. And we're playing a 750-point game. Very exciting. Same board as the last Bat Rep, by the way. And I'm just getting in practice and learning 9th edition. It's a lot of fun. I am playing Eldar. It's turn 2, and I've kind of taken some reversals, had a Wave Serpent blow up. And we're playing Crossfire, which is 4 objectives. And Landon's introduced me to this great app where it keeps track of your battle. Oh, that's like Battle Scribe or whatever. But anyway, we'll talk more about that later. So what I'm doing is I'm taking notes on the mistakes that I make so that I don't make those mistakes in the future. And looking up rules as I go along and basically creating a little Eldar journal while I build up my Necron army and figure out Necrons. So there's a lot to learn. Eradicators are bad news. Let's take a look at Landon's paint jobs here. It takes him forever, apparently, to paint these. How much time do you think each one takes?
Oh, each one probably like 5 hours minimum, I would say.
Yeah.
Just between all the base coats, washes, highlights.
Oh, and these guys are like camera worthy. And you're playing White Scars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're a placeholder. And
this is your kind of your other scheme, and you've put what the heck is it?
Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, Age of Sigmar Stormcast pieces on it, and it looks really good. The shoulder pads are very distinctive. I love it. Yeah, it all fits.
Thanks, Sean.
These Dire Avengers are getting worked by 2 characters and a Blade Guard veteran. Their last words will be, "At least we were painted." Yeah, I thought I could shoot them up enough to stand at the end, but yeah, this is pretty brutal. Mathematically, I will be unable to hold these guys off of just charging up and giving me the work over. All right. By the way, thank you very much, Landon. I appreciate you coming out today.
Thank you, Sean.
So, what's your deal? Like, what do you do normally in normal life?
Normally,
if you can say.
Yeah,
real estate.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Real estate. Yep,
I'll be picking your brain about that.
I'd be happy to answer your questions.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
And okay, so how long have you been playing 40K?
Oh, I started back Assault on Black Reach, that starter box with the Orcs and Marines. That was 8 years ago, 10 years ago. So I've been around for a while. But I took a break in college because there wasn't really a game shop up in Logan that I liked. But now that I'm back down here.
Are you building up from nothing now? Like, do you have other armies besides this?
No, I've just started with the, what was their 9th edition box set. And got 2 of those, and I've just been building up from that pretty slowly. But I'm picking up steam now. Like, I'm really invested in it, so.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Sean.
All right, I want to talk about how 40K is like chess with variations. So, meaning there's some luck, but it's not as much as you might think. So first off, I moved my Wave Serpent too far. With Star Engines, I rolled an 11 on 2d6, so 16 plus 2d6 is 27. But I moved him 35 because I took 26 as the base move. In my head, I added it wrong. But it turned out to not substantively matter. But the thing is, these Eradicators, when they moved up 6 inches, they were literally just barely getting to the tip of the thing. So if I had simply done the obvious thing and went, oh, here's this unit that can blow up my tank, maybe I should make sure I stay out of their total range of 6 inches plus 24 inches. So basically, I could make the Wave Serpent immune to these Eradicators by simply being 30 inches away. And I had that movement. It would have been so easy. Literally, the game was this. Moving here versus here. And that's it. Because if I had, I'd have 10 Dire Avengers popping out, and all the firepower here, plus this Warwalker coming down like a hammer on these guys. And that means, and that's how you take objectives. So let's just take a look at objectives. I lost this one. I have 1. That's it. So I do believe 5 points for having 1 objective. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I did raise my banners. I don't get this now. I don't think you get it now. And that's the other thing. You got to learn the game. And there's so much to this game because it's not just what your army can do. You got to know everything your opponent's army can do. And you have to be on the lookout for honest mistakes by your opponent. If they roll, whatever it is. So really, there's a lot to playing Warhammer 40K competitively and even playing it competitively casually. There's a lot to it. Like, you want to have a better game. Feels better to win than lose. Obviously, you don't want to stomp somebody into the earth for no apparent reason. But that's kind of how it rolls. So another thing, as you go along, you got to think, how am I going to win this game? Because you can pull out wins. With my chess sort of theory, really this game is already done. Like, that one mistake, that was a huge deal, and made the difference between me rolling this flank over the next 2 turns and me absolutely getting crushed, wretchedly, I might add. So basically, these Guardians are not going to take down Khan, a Lieutenant, a Blade Guard, and these 5 guys before getting utterly annihilated. This guy's going to help, but he ain't going to help that much. Yeah, it's down to basically torrent of fire. Okay, thanks for tuning in. All right, so this is super interesting because what I'm doing is I've got OBSEC on this by 1 Guardian being within 3 inches now. And moving, the Warwalker feels like he wants to stay far away, but he actually wants to get into the fight up here because he has a high toughness, he has a power field, he can actually shoot his stuff because he's a vehicle, because of Big Guns Never Tire in 9th edition, he can shoot his weapons into close combat. So he's actually really helpful over here. So in a way, I want to restrain these guys with this Warlock's power. That's where he is. So it's all such a long shot. When you start stringing together like 5 things got to go right to win this game, you've lost that game. Because, the chances are it's not going to happen. You can't just go in and be like, well, there's a 20% chance of this, 30% chance of this, 50% chance of that. Well, guess what? You now need, that's like 1 in 18, something like that. So, all right, let's keep playing.
Rolling 1s because of my Warlord shirt.
So I charged in, and I'm against Khan and a Lieutenant, and this is not going to go well. But we're going to find out how not well it will go. These guys are restrained. That may keep me out of close combat for a turn. Mm-hmm. It's iffy, but what happened?
I hit with 4, and now I'm rolling to wound. He is strength 8, toughness
6.
Okay, wounding on
3. This is Khan again?
No, this is just the lieutenant.
Okay,
and he gets
great.
a +1.
Who has 7 attacks, did you say?
No, he only had 5, but I hit with 4.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
he wounds on 3s, but he gets a +1 because of Khan.
Okay, sounds good.
That is 1 miss, 3 wounds at AP -5.
Okay, so I have a power field, which is, just an invuln save. So here it comes. The Warwalker needs 5s. 1 saves, Ulthway on 6s. Nothing. I've made a single one.
I think so. That's 2 damage.
So
each.
2 wounds, okay? Oh, 2 each. So 4 wounds. Mm-hmm. He has 6 wounds.
Oh, he's close. He's close.
Okay, let's do Khan then.
Okay.
So I've taken 4. This is exciting. You guys are going to see this happen. I did manage to put 1 wound on Khan. I only need to do 5 more in melee with Guardians.
Khan is going to swing.
I don't think this is going to happen. Like, literally, I would need like 140 attacks to make it.
Khan is going to swing on your, the normal guys, the troops.
Yep.
All right, he's hitting on 2s.
Yep. All right, we'll get back
hit.
to you. All right, guys, I got mopped up. The only thing still living on the board by turn 3 is this lone Warlock. So what he does, because of the runes of fate, and that he can see the skeins of the future, he runs over to this acid pool, and he He jumps in. Now, he's prepared this acid pool with just green-colored water. And in the bottom is a breathing tube and oxygen, as well as a compartment full of bones that he can open up, and the bones float to the surface so that they think that he's dead. But he actually just waits for them to leave, and he gets out, and he makes good his escape.
I'm sure he'll be back for his vengeance.
He will be, Landon, because this isn't our last game. With all these games in the background. Hey guys, it's like watching a pumpkin, like an albino pumpkin just slowly rot in the sun. Yeah, here's me at age 68. What are you looking at? My teeth will still be good, by the way. I've taken a really good care of my teeth. All right, I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
So we just played a 750 game, right? So
Yep.
Landon, how did we meet? Like, how did you
We just met through Facebook
see
on
what's going on?
the Utah Gamers page or some sort of Utah Facebook group for Warhammer players.
Yeah.
And I think I just posted, does anybody want to get a game? Or I saw
Did I respond to that?
I think you did.
Did I?
Yeah,
so
you were like, I'm new
you
tonight,
said I want
learn
to get
how
in the
play."
game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I was down with that. Well, because I've decided to play 9th edition now. I got my ganas back, guys. All right, cool. And you've been playing for like 10 years, right?
I've been, on and off for the first couple. During college, I took a little break, but I've been around for a
how
long
old?
time.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Ah, jeez. He was literally 3 years old when I started playing 40K. Okay, but you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, I've
So
been
you
playing 40K for a
started
while.
at like 5th edition.
Right around
Something
there,
like
I
that.
think. Yeah, right around there. I played Space Marines, a custom chapter from the Assault on Black Reach box set.
Custom chapter.
Custom chapter?
That you made up?
Yeah,
Well, what was your custom chapter?
oh boy. At
Tell
that
us all
age,
about it.
It was some weird chapter where they'd like gone out in the desert and they got totally destroyed by, I think, Tyranids.
What were they called?
I can't even remember. But the fluff was like, their armor was
Okay,
blood red.
I'm going to name them
That works
the
for me.
Dust Diggers.
I like that.
Yeah, and they have red armor for some reason.
It was like they-
red scorpions have gray armor for some reason.
But they got the red scorpion.
Well,
logo.
so
Yeah,
the
weird.
scorpion logo can be red.
Yeah. But they'd gone out in the desert, got massacred, and then some sort of warp magic like brought them back up out of the sand. It was ridiculous. Now I'm like fine to
So
play
they weren't
white
chaos?
No, I guess it didn't really make a lot of sense, but I was very young. So
That's awesome.
Now
So
what-
what
what it is
other factions have you played?
I played Necrons for a little while in 6th edition, 7th edition, something like that, a couple years back, and got probably upwards of like 1,500 points for some small tournaments. But that's the only non-Space Marine army I've ever played. I've always just had a thing for being, I always say the good guys, but I know that there are no good guys in 40K. So I've just always stuck with the Space Marine stuff. That's what I like.
No good guys in 40K. Yeah, that's probably true.
That's about right.
The closest are the Eldar.
They've been around longer than
Yeah.
than the Marines, so they can
Ooh,
probably
does
come up
living a
with good
long
guys.
time make you good? I always post like mind challenging questions on my Facebook thread. And one was, what would happen to you psychologically if you lived 900 years? Like what would happen?
I can't even.
Now, I'm just turning 52 this year, so I have kind of like a trajectory of, so you'd go through a phase where you didn't care about people or things, like ennui, like what does it all matter? But then you'd come back around. My prediction was you'd have a bunch of Zen masters. You'd have a bunch of beings that were enlightened, basically, that were good, that were very, very, very good. I think goodness is the ultimate thing.
The Eldar
Yeah,
probably
the
are
Eldar
closest
are
thing you
really
get to
good. Yeah,
The good guys.
they
I feel like they just
know-
get picked on. I don't
Why
even know.
can't people just cooperate with their superior wisdom? All right, so you played Necrons.
Yep.
Okay, so here's my question. If you had to pick another faction right now, 9th edition, we're going to give you this army. Yeah, right? So let's say $1,000 to spend on your army.
That's funny. I've been thinking about that a lot actually recently.
What would you
I'd
pick?
go. I think I would go Tyranids because I never really played Xenos that weren't humanoid. Like Necrons are at least humanoid-ish, And Xenos, you just get so far away from that with the Tyranids, it'd be really fun. And you could do some cool sculpting and make some really cool looking like custom Tyranids. That would be really fun. I don't know what color color scheme I do yet, but I think Tyranids would be really fun. And it's so different than Marines. Like Marines, you have a pretty small army with small squads. In Tyranids, it's the opposite. You're going big giant squads of a bunch of bugs with huge monsters behind them. It would be a nice shakeup of what I'm used to playing. So that's what I would go with.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Tyranids are the only non-humanoid race. They have 6
Yeah.
arms.
Yeah.
And supposedly they come from beyond the galaxy. So they really are the only aliens in the game.
Yeah.
And Tyranids are super cool. They were actually my second army.
They were.
And back when Ormagants were all metal, and they had like alien type head, like Xenomorph.
The really
movie.
long ones, yeah.
And I think they had some copyright scares from that, by the way.
I think they had to change
because they
some
made
stuff.
them like, they looked like aliens. So I bought 96 metal Ormagants. And I tried a strategy of like running across not enough bullets, and it worked pretty good.
Back then, I bet it
But
could be a little hard.
People complain about it, but I think they've done a pretty good job balancing the game.
Especially in ninth.
And yeah, in our game we found I could walk away and just like, oh, Marines are Joe, no, Sean, make your moves better and pay attention to
Yeah.
what's going on.
You were a great sport. You were really good to play with.
Oh, thank you
'Cause I've
very
been in
much.
your shoes too, where you're like, this is not going my way.
Yeah.
And it's very early in the game, but it's not fun to play with someone who just like, oh, okay, well, I'll make my saves. Oh, look at that, I failed them all, shocker. Like, then you feel bad for winning. You're like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just not fun for either person. So if you can have fun when you're winning, you have to have fun when you're losing to be a good sport.
A little bit of sportsmanship goes a long way.
I think so. Well, I
Yeah.
hope it means we get more games in the future.
Yeah,
That's
you
my
can't
hope.
see this, but Landon's like way behind me.
Let me scoot up.
No, you're fine. No, that's purposely how I'm doing it nowadays. So anyway, gotta tell a story. My 40K group in 1998 decided to play Warhammer Fantasy. So we got together, we all picked our armies. I picked High Elves, of course.
Yeah, elf guy.
And I lost like every single game. It was a joke of the group that the High Elves were like the whipping boy, and everybody knew, it was common knowledge, that the High Elf book wasn't very good. So one day I'm like, who wants to buy my High Elves? They're all painted, $100. And I had a guy immediately jumped on that, and he picked them up, and he started playing with a journal. Every time he played a game, he made notes on what he did wrong and what he could do better, and he really worked on it. And pretty soon, he was winning like 80 to 90% of his games. And then it became common knowledge that the High Elf book was overpowered, and it was just unfair if you ever played High Elves.
Of course it was.
And so that's the big lesson is, well, pay attention. And nowadays, my good friend Rich Kilton, who's a top world orcs player, yeah, he's like, he loved orcs, and he was like, well, guess what? He put in all this time to learn how to do them, and now he'll stomp your face no matter who you are.
I bet.
Like, not just top orcs player, but he's like creeping up in like the general rankings from just...
That's awesome.
And so I think the thing is, Games Workshop has put a lot of effort into the books, and us fans have simply not caught up
Yep.
to what's really in that book and how to really play those. Like the Tau
Agreed.
drones thing. All of a sudden, one day, one guy was like, "Oh, what if you had 50 shield drones, and you could just negate all the heavy weaponry that was coming in?"
Tower broken.
And-
They're
Yeah.
a broken army. No.
And then, of course,
no.
now you have that. Nobody thought of it before.
Yeah.
So these new books that are coming out, and
books
so
and new
rules
FAQs.
churn. Yeah, rules churn is a problem, but it also keeps everybody on their toes, too. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm firmly against it. So anyway, thank you, Landon, for standing there while
Yeah,
I
thank you,
told my tale, the song of my people. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I've never asked this before, but please like and subscribe and comment. That'd be amazing. I really would like to get my viewership up to,
Yeah.
I don't know, 1,000 to 2,000. That'd be great. I mean, my channel has 44,000 subscribers. By the way, going down daily. But the views typically are only 200 to 400. And back in 2008, my goal was, thanks again for sitting through this. In 2008, I was getting up there to where it was 1 view a minute for the first 24 hours. And that was 1,600 views.
Wow.
And that'd be really a great place to be, and I think that would generate sort of the interest level, et cetera, and all the good things that go along with that for what I want to do with blue table painting. Ergo, more bat reps is what I'm doing. I don't know why. Mine are the worst, bottom 10%. All right, thanks a lot, Landon.
Thanks, Sean.